matters. Are you following the argument you're making?
Yes, sir.
The quality of the voice. At times you have to come up, at times you have to go low. You project your voice when you want to stress things. But I didn't say shout. If you shout, you keep shouting, right? The student becomes irritated by your noise, by your shouting. And then they discontinue listening to you, even though they are physically present. Have you been to a church that the church is in a classroom and they have amplifiers as big as for stadiums? If you are not used to those noise, 5-10 minutes in that church, you want to leave. Because the noise is almost deafening. That is what you do if you also overshout in your class. So I said you have to learn to project your voice, moderate your voice. You go down, you come down. At times, if you know that you have the attention, you talk undertone so that everybody keeps a keen ear. He wants to listen to what you are saying. Then you keep them in suspense and then gradually give it to them so that the class becomes interesting. Besides that too, you need to encourage your voice, reinforcement. Well done. Bravo, excellent. When you go to primary school, now, it is very, very interesting. They have parliamentary club, Equiadonco club. What again? The one they say Akufado. They say Mankane ye kra. All these things are introduced to make the lesson interesting, to stimulate the learner's desire to learn. Bear in mind that our job as teachers is to stimulate learning. Then you have to take your time to be able to explain the concept. So you should have various ways of explaining one particular concept. So that if the children do not understand example 1, you give them example 2, example 3, till they get it. And then you should also know that you should allow room for the learners to ask you questions. Whatever that is bothering their minds, when we teach, we also dispel misconceptions. They may have certain mindset before coming to the classroom. They may have certain ideas about a concept that they are teaching before coming to your classroom. So you seize the opportunity to correct these wrong impressions that they may have. But if you do not allow them to ask questions, if you don't give them opportunity for them to give you feedback, you will not know. You'll miss those opportunities to dispel this misconception. And then when the students are talking, this is one, I always stress this, especially when we are doing on-campus teaching practice. These days, it is difficult for teachers to listen. The moment a child starts asking questions, they think they know what he wants to say, so they cut a child short and they give an answer. No. At times, they don't ask questions because they do not know. At times, they ask questions to confirm what they already know. At times, it's some difficulties that the colleague has. At times, they ask questions to secure your approval as a teacher. He wants you to see that he is enjoying the lesson. That's why he's asking you a question. That he knows something about the subject. So you need to listen. I said you need to what? Hello?
Listen.
You need to listen to them. You listen to them. Let them state their question or problem in full before you attempt an answer. And at times, give yourself some thinking time too. Don't rush to answer questions. Process the information that is given you, the feedback that he has given you, and then look for a suitable answer or answers to their question. It is okay at times not to know the answer for a question, because the teacher doesn't also knows it all, regardless of how prepared you are. There are certain issues or topics that a learner or a learner may know more than a teacher. So at times, you should throw the question back to the class, and when it becomes necessary, you can defer the question to another lesson. But it should not be your habit that every question that the student asks, you say next week. Then they will tell you, they will nickname you next week. Is that okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Then our job is to offer guidance. Not necessarily go there and lecture them. At times, you just have to introduce the problem, give them the resources to solve the problem, and use the time to guide them to discover answers, to discover solutions on their own, even with historical topics. You want to review the history of Ghana's independence. Give them about 4 sources. Some are audio sound bites, some are letters, some are documents. Let them read from these sources and summarize in their own way what they think the history of Ghana is. So we just go around and offer them assistance, what they should be listening to, how they are supposed to coordinate their own learning. You don't do everything yourself. That is why we say that now we want teachers as facilitators. We are facilitating the learning process. And then learners' previous knowledge should always be explored and developed. So find out the kinds of knowledge that they have, and then utilize that in your lessons. To this point, any question? Hello?
Hi, sir.
Any question?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, any question? Francis, Ata, any question?
Hello, sir.
Any question?
No, at
Yes,
this
sir.
point, no question.
Are you sure?
So there's a concern.
Okay.
Let's say we are to teach a new topic.
Yes.
Then you want to find out more about how the students are versed up with it. So you add their relevant previous knowledge. You ask questions. Then you realize that half of the class are not okay with it, and half are also okay. So at that instance, do you have to proceed with the lesson, or you have to revisit it back?
What you do is that you bring the half that are lacking behind to the same level as their colleagues, and then you move ahead. Because if that knowledge, that prior knowledge, forms the basis of what you are teaching, it will not make sense to continue the lesson while they don't have the foundation that will help them understand what they are going to teach them. Do you understand what I mean? So you
Yes,
can
sir.
even use the learners that understand the concept to explain so that their colleagues will pick it. Peer teaching is very good. Once they know that their colleagues understand it, it challenges them also to learn it. So that next time they can also explain. So you bring them at par and then you build. You don't leave them behind. Is that okay? But at times too, It is just about trying to give them some clues so that they understand. If, let's say, you want to teach about, let's say, Axum, but you think that they will understand better if probably you have started with Egypt, because Egypt had a centralized system and then their funeral system. Egypt, the whole Egypt is like a funeral court. You relate it to what we have in Ghana here, right? Our reverence, or what we term as propitiation. We don't say worship, we say propitiation. We respect, we revere our ancestors. You relate that to that of Egypt so that they understand how their kinship system is, their agriculture, everything. You relate it to what we have in Ghana. Because at times, just mentioning names that are foreign, those things are not familiar. So it's a turn off for the student. But if we start from Ghana here, how our, let's say, kinship structure is set up, how our agriculture sector is set up, how our social relations are structured, and then you relate it with Axum, they will understand. So it always pays that we spend a bit more time to build a foundation. That's why we teach from the known to the unknown, so that we carry every learner along. Is that okay? Hello?
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Beyond the content, what is also important is the teacher's confidence. Your confidence in class. And your confidence is seen through your articulation or your ability to explain concepts. Your posturing all contribute to whether, or contribute to assessing whether you are confident or not. A teacher that cannot look children in the face, eyeball to eyeball, will be seen as somebody who is not competent. A teacher who often use space fillers, you know, the student will know that you don't know your content. Even though I concede that all of us have some form of language mannerisms, which we should try to minimize. But your confidence is everything. The way you speak, your tone, your posture, your how you articulate, your hand movement, should all communicate to the learner that you are on top of the game. You know what you are doing in class. You are in charge of the class. Never allow the children to run you over in your own class. You need to take control. I don't say go and beat them. But you, the teacher, should determine the mood in the class. If we are exploring, we are all exploring. If it's a time of tax where we are enjoying one joke or the other, it is the teacher that is regulating what is happening. Don't allow one or two students in your class to hijack the class. When I say hijack the class, do you understand what it means? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Have you
please.
experienced that before?
No,
Yes,
sir.
Please.
Okay, those that have experience, share it with us.
So,
Sir,
a situation where you've gone to a class to teach, and it's like the topic or the subject that you have to teach, 2 or 3 students are okay with it. Then every question that you ask, they are the very people who are answering and asking
Yes.
questions, while their colleagues are just sitting there and being observers.
That is good. Teresa, I also want to share something.
yes, mine is when you go to class, what you are supposed to do there, the student already know. 2 or 3 already know. So whenever you pose the question, they are the one answering the answer. The answer.
Yes.
So,
So when that happens, you need to let them know that you are in charge without offending them. Right? So when in the class, you do not just raise your hand and start talking. You have to be called by the teacher, be given the platform before you contribute to class discussion. So if you set those ground rules, nobody can hijack your class. If he puts up his hand, the first time you call him, the second time you don't call him, you call another person. And you let them know that you are willing to spend time to bring the class at par with them before we move on. When they try 1, 2, 3 times, you don't get the attention that they want, they will stop. At times too, they will start arguing with you. Just let them air whatever that they want to say on the matter. Just say you've heard them. And then take your time and build the lesson step by step. So don't allow students or learners to hijack your class. Be in charge.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is it appropriate or is it a best method when you go to the classroom to teach, as you are saying, then you single out some people and said they are not supposed to ask or answer questions?
No, it's not about saying that they didn't answer questions. You can ask them because you are training everybody in the class. The higher achievers, the average achievers, and the underachievers, you are working with everybody. But you do not allow them to dictate the pace of the lesson. You have planned your lesson. So they can ask a question or two. If they want to dominate the class, that is when you step in and stop them. I remember in a university, we're doing a course and we're doing some calculations. It was a TA that was handling us. And I think that he himself was not too conversant with the formulas and the calculations. And then there was a colleague of us who already knew how to, or who thought he knew how to solve that formula. So as he was even trying to teach us the formula for us to master it, and he kept interjecting and asking questions to the extent that the TA got confused. So the TA called the class off, went and prepared. The following day when he came and he started, there's my friend started again. So he indulged him for the second question, and he told him he should hold his peace. Once he is done, he will give him the opportunity to ask whatever question that he has. And by the time the TA was able to take us systematically step by step to the last point, my friend didn't have any question to ask. It turned out that he himself did not understand or didn't know how to solve the question properly. But if the second day he had indulged him, we have ended up confusing the entire class. Do you get the point I'm making? Hello?
Hi.
So I'm not saying that blacklist some students. What I'm saying is that do not allow them to dominate your lessons. And I think you know the difference between the two now. Philomena. Philomena. Is it clear?
Yes, please.
So you don't allow any student to dominate your class. That is why I'm coming. Ample opportunity to be given to learners to ask questions and seek clarifications. So if you are a class of 40, I cannot, and I'm teaching for, let's say, 45 minutes. I can't allow one person to use 10, 15 minutes to ask me questions. No. There is a content to be learned. There are some skills to be developed. There are some attitude or values to be imbibed. And each should have a fair share of the instructional process. Who said there's a question? Philomena, was that you?
No, Teresa.
Teresa, okay.
My question is, as a teacher, should you be friendly to your people or unfriendly?
So should it be what? Rude?
Friendly.
It depends on what you define as friendly. I am friendly to my students. I allow them to say things that they don't say ordinarily to other lecturers. But you would not disrespect me or disrespect your colleagues whilst I'm there. So the point is, you don't have to be overly friendly. You should know your limits as a teacher. Likewise, the students, you also know their limits as learners. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, please.
So when you come to class, that is why the moment you enter, there should be a difference from when they are there alone and when you are there as a teacher. When you are there, you coordinate everything that is happening in the room. So you don't have to be let a student be overly friendly with you to the point of disrespecting you. That's the point I want to make. You shouldn't allow students to disrespect you. When they cross the line, you should let them know that they've crossed the line. Push them back to the rightful places. Especially when you are teaching in, let's say you are male, you are teaching in a female single-sex school or a mixed school. You need to be careful. A student cannot just walk up to you and put his arms around your waist. No. It communicates a bit of like that professional attitude is not there. So limits, boundaries should be clearly defined. I come to class, you can laugh. As I said, you can even use any example that others might think it is a bit profane or something. So far as it is related to what we are doing, I'm not too much bothered. But you will not disrespect me, and you will not disrespect your colleagues whilst I'm there. So the boundaries should always be drawn. That is why it is good that you set the ground rules in your class. In my class, if you want to ask a question, you put up your hand. I call you before you make a submission. When a student mispronounces a word, we do not laugh at the person. We correct the person. We share ideas. We do not downgrade or degrade somebody in our class. If you want to leave the classroom, you need to seek my permission. If you are coming in late, you have to come and give me an explanation to why you are coming in. Don't just barge into the classroom and go and sit down. These are the ground rules that you should set in your class. So the students know you by those ground rules. Now, while this teacher is there, I cannot just barge in and barge out at will. No, it won't happen. Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, please. Yes, you answered me. The reason why I was asking this question was, if the teacher is so friendly with the students, they don't pay attention to whatever the tutor is teaching them. That's why I was asking this question.
But there's also the reverse, which is also true. If you are excessively harsh, unfamiliar, unfriendly with the learners, they will be quiet in your class. They will not learn anything that you teach them. They are afraid of you. They are just waiting for you to leave. So you always have to maintain the balance. Do you understand what I'm saying? A teacher that you do not like, oftentimes you do not learn anything from him. Teachers that you like are the ones that are often you learn their lessons. So you also have to watch it. That is why I do not like teachers that are always yielding canes. Everywhere on a compound, you are holding cane. Because canes have negative impressions on students. They inflict pain or harm to some students. So if you are always holding a cane, chances are that some students will be frightened by you. Right? So a fair balance is all that we need. Can we make progress? We said the class should be interactive.
Sure.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, please. I want to add something small on the question that my sister asked about whether you should be friendly to your students or not.
Okay.
Yes, and you said there should be a borderline.
Yes.
So, like, I want to use myself for an example. Those of us who are teaching at the junior high schools,
Okay.
at a point in time, it is good that if you are free with the students, but some of them, when you are free with them at a point in time, you come to the classroom, then they are not trying to concentrate.
Yeah.
So mostly what I do tell them is that when it's time for classrooms, there is nothing like I'm free with you, there's nothing like jokes.
Yeah.
We put all those things aside, then we learn.
Okay.
And when it's time for us to laugh or when it's time for us to play, then we bring on those things.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
so because of that, when I go to classroom, I can use like a minute for us to get sing, dance, and laugh. Then before we start our class,
okay.
but before we start, I tell them that when you are found culpable, you'll be punished for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So ground rules are important. Right. And I'm saying that for us as males, always be careful, especially when you are dealing with the opposite sex. Don't get too familiar with the female or the opposite sex. Have to always maintain a professional relations with learners. But at times, you need to go a bit more personal for you to help a student that is in need. Those ones you do, but you do that cautiously. Are we clear? So I've talked about
Yes.
your verbal, and what is important is that at times too, it is not only about what we say, but it's also about what we don't say. Your facial expressions, your hand gestures communicate. A teacher that is teaching that has his hands always in his pocket or at his back, you are not communicating. You don't watch students in their face. You are always looking inside the mirror, inside the window, or on the ceiling. You are communicating incompetence to learners. Then there's the mannerism. There are some teachers, everything what, and the what, and the what, and the 5 minutes, you will say what like 50 times. These are bad mannerisms that we should check. Then poor communication skills. Watch your diction, grow your vocabulary. Very, very important. I say what? Grow your what? Your vocabulary. How can a teacher grow his vocabulary? Hello?
Hi.
How
Hi.
can you grow your vocabulary?
Yeah.
Uh, you read.
Sir.
Yes?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Francis.
I you have to read and also do research about words, uh, the meaning of words that you don't understand.
Yes. Every unfamiliar word should be cross-checked before you go to the classroom. Do not wait for you to go to the class. You have used a word or written a word on the board. They ask you what is the meaning of this, and then you are standing there. No. Every word that is unfamiliar, at times even the ones that we think we know, it's good to cross-check. We do not stop learning. We continue to learn until we die as teachers. So you read, you talk. And that way, you build your vocabulary, you build your diction. And therefore, you can change them at will. At times, when we don't want to confuse the student, and we go and use big words that we know that big grammar that they won't understand, so that they don't ask us any question. Those are not good ways of communicating. Communication is a message. It had to be decoded. And it can only be decoded when the student understands what you are communicating. And then the student can bring you feedback. That is a full cycle of communication. It is a two-way affair, not a one-way affair. And then we should not be in the habit of repeating student responses. If the student was clear enough, if it was audible enough, everybody could hear him or her, there's no need repeating the responses. Rather, you develop, you add to what they are saying. So you should not be found of repeating everything that they say. You are not a microphone. You are there to teach. It is only when, let's say, a student is, let's say, very timid, shy. He doesn't often participate in class discussion, but he managed to say something. I think it was not loud enough for everybody to hear. Then, oh, you can say, oh, clap for him, clap for her. Excellent. And then you repeat what he said for the benefit of the entire class, and then you develop it further. Are you following the argument?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please, we are following you. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've talked about your appearance, your physical appearance. Very, very important. You are a role model to the learners, and you need to appear professional. And usually here, it is the males that are at fault. The females always dress properly. History teachers, I don't know whether because they are dealing with the past, they come to school shabbily dressed. His belt is as if it was pulled out from the museum. His shoe unpolished. Trousers oversized. Shirt faded. How can people respect you with that kind of appearance? How will people love to be like you when you are not attractive, even to your learners? So you need to come to class properly dressed, professionally dressed. And for the ladies, watch the excesses. Avoid unnecessary ornamentations that will distract. Keep your hairdo simple but neat, so that students would admire, they want to be like you. And then watch your posture, how you stand, how you move in class. Don't go to class and when you go, you just sit down. What is wrong with sitting down and teaching? Hello?
So you make the class look dull.
The class look dull. What again?
Hello, sir.
Yes, hello, Gafaru.
Yes, so when you are sitting down, you're teaching, you lose class control. You will not be able to monitor what is going on.
The teacher is supposed to have a bird's eye view of the class. You should know everything that is happening in the class. But if you sit down, you have limited your gaze. Right? It's as if you are not serious. So unless probably you are sick, don't sit. Stand. Move between the lanes or the lines. Engage the learners. And let them enjoy the lesson. Don't sit. Is that okay? These are you find
Okay.
ladies sitting on
Yes.
decks, the bar of decks, in your skirt, and you are sitting on top. What ideas do you want to give the learners? You are in skirt too, and you are sitting on the decks, the wooden bar at the back. Chances are that you expose yourself. If it's a boys' school, they will not follow any lesson. They will be fixative between your legs. They watch your posture. And then your teaching and learning resources. We are in a digital age, in a time where students are used to gadgets from a very tender age. Nice visuals. So if we are taking or selecting our TLMs, we need to select ones that would attract their attention, that will stimulate their interest in the lesson. The days of drawing on what's the name of this thing? Malina board or posters and pasting on the board is over. If you can download images, download them. If you have to download videos, download them and use them in your lessons. Take them out. At times, the resources are just on the school compound. Don't sit inside there and describe it to them. Take them out and let them identify the rotten. Then it is during this stage that we do our formative assessment, where we want to see whether the student understood what we have taught. And if not, there are remedial measures that we take so that we correct misconceptions. So all these activities we do in the planning stage. Then also talk about the evaluation stage. That is where we are assessing what learners were able to take away from our lessons. And usually we use class assignments, homework, quizzes, let's say question and answer, to find out what they've learned from the lesson. But most importantly, this, we call this stage reflection. What did they like about the lesson? What did they dislike about the lesson? The next time you have the opportunity to teach this lesson, how do they want you to handle these lessons? What resources should you have used to enhance the lesson? We should explore all these possibilities in the evaluation stages. Hello?
Hi.
Any question?
Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Hello. Yeah, please about the post and the
About the
dressing and post.
okay.
I'm a lady. When I come to classes, I take my nails, I make makeup, not manual ones, the one that will attract the students. Is it appropriate or is it professional?
If you overdo it, Teresa, are you done?
Yes, please.
The thing is that if you wear long like earrings, the dangling earrings, your long hair, that is almost like getting to your buttocks. When you turn your head, the hair would cover your face. You will use the time to be shaping your hair, making sure you put it at the right places. That is why we say wear your hair up, so that it does not distract you as well as the learners. If the makeup is too much, the student attention is on you and not the lesson. So your makeup is distracting the learners. You know you are a well-endowed woman. Front, you are well endowed. Back, you are well endowed. Wear dresses that will cover yourself, not reveal those things too much to the learners. When you are in your house with your husband, wear things that will reveal your shape to your husband so that he be attracted to you. The students are not supposed to be attracted to you as a teacher. So at times, it is not a one-fit-all thing. You have to look at how your stature and decide dress appropriately. There are dresses that can make you look too short. There are dresses that can make you too tall. There are dresses that can arrest attention to certain part of your body, like if you're a female and you have a very narrow waist, a broad hip, and then you like tearing like something like I forgot the name, like a cloth, or wearing, let's say, very colorful belts. Right? It attracts attention to your waist line and it distracts the class. Coming to class with some eyeshadows, eye lips that are very, very bright, and it distracts from the learners. So those things you should avoid. You know you have done your nails. You're supposed to come and write with the marker. You can't even hold the marker to write. There's a distraction. So you don't do those things. If you went for your wedding, you trim it, and then Monday morning you come to school to work. You are not a model, you are a teacher. Is that clear? Hello?
Hello.
Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
sir.
So you watch it. Now,
Sir, please.
yes.
I'm asking if you can ask the learners how the lesson go or what they dislike and like in your lesson. Can you
Yes.
ask them?
You are supposed to ask them. That is why we say reflection.
Okay.
You think
But
that they don't
the
know?
reflection will normally ask them what they have learned.
No, so beyond what they have learned, that is when you are evaluating the lesson. The reflection, most importantly, is on what they liked about the lesson. What didn't they like about the lesson? How can we improve the lesson going forward? And it will shock you if you do this consistently, the kinds of feedback that you get from the learners. They can point you to some areas in town which you could have taken them, which would have augmented or enhanced your lessons. Oh, sir, the TLM that you showed, we at the back, we could not see. He has communicated to you. I was not legible. Oh, sir, this part of the lesson, we didn't understand. You should have spent a bit more time to give us more examples. That is why you can even write in your remarks column that maybe this particular point the student did not understand. So in my next lesson, I would make sure they understand this before I introduce this lesson. You write in your remarks. So the children, as we say, are not tabula rastas. They know something. And then if they give you some feedback, be gracious enough to accept them, even when you think they are negative. Hello?
Hi, sir.
Just today, a former student of mine called me that the sister is in my class. And she complains that when I come to class and I teach, she doesn't understand. That is feedback. So I have to vary how I go about it so that I could carry everybody along. It doesn't mean I have failed or I'm a bad teacher. We have different kind of learners. There are some they have to see pictures. There are some they have to see you come to class and talk. There are some they learn best when they are alone. but you need to make that 35 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours that you are in the classroom, you have to make it count. And so, yes, you have to take feedback from them. Can we make progress?
Yes, sir.
So we've talked about teaching. And for now, we think that it is only about us and what we do. But a significant part of what we do as teachers is the learners and what they do. When we say teaching, it goes hand in glove with learning. So teaching and learning are two sides of the same coin. So when we say learning, look at the image that I've just given you. Can you see the image that I've just shared?
Yes, sir.
What do you observe? Hello?
Hi.
Yes, sir. In the first picture, the students are sitting down comfortably trying to learn something.
Uh-huh.
But in the second picture, you could see that some are lying down and others are sitting. And they are writing and also trying to pick up one or two things.
Which of the two schools do you want to be in?
Yes, so as a teacher, I would prefer to be in the first one where the students are sitting down comfortable.
Yes. So you see, a lot of factors goes into learning. Aside the intelligence, the enabling environment also matters. And we should understand what it takes for a child to learn. And for us to understand it better, we'll look at a few learning theories. So we say learning is the process of continuous change in human performance or performance potential. It must come about as a result of the learners experiencing and interacting with the world around them. So we say it is a process. That's dry score, 2000. So we say from the definition of learning, learning is not a one-time activity, but a process which should be sustained for a long period. It should ultimately lead to change in human behavior and capabilities. That is why it is important to me. Learning should lead to a change in human behavior and capabilities. Learning comes about through experiences gained by interacting with the environment. So what we are saying is that we as teachers, we are creating that environment that is helping the student to learn new knowledge, to acquire new skills, to develop new values, to develop new attitudes. It is these attitudes, development of competences, that leads to a behavioral change. So if there is no change in performance, if there is no change in the child's potential, then we have not taught the learners properly. Do you agree with me? Hello?
Yes, please. We agree.
So anytime we go to class, we should help the learners to acquire new knowledge, to acquire new skills, to develop some positive values, to develop some positive attributes or attitudes. If you fail in ensuring that learners acquire these competencies that we've talked about, they will fail as teachers. So that is why we develop on their previous knowledge. We develop their previous skills. We dispel misconceptions so that they leave our classroom better than they came in. Hello? Hello?
So we can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
So let me know that you can hear me. So all that I'm suffering talking on top of my voice this evening, if you go back and teach the way you were teaching before, then I will label infidelity. There should be some aspect of your teaching which should change. Even if you are doing the correct thing, you should have that confidence, that boldness to continue with, because you've been through methods. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So another says that, Ferrand says that it is a process through which learners acquire, retain attitude, knowledge, understanding, skills, capabilities that are not influenced by inherent behavior patterns or physical growth. What are we saying here? Human being by nature, as we age, we learn. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
We agree. Yes, sir.
You are a child. If you see hot water, you want to touch it. If you see fire, you want to touch it. If you touch it and you burn it, you gain experience. Last time when you see fire, you don't put your hand, you don't go closer. You have learned.
Yeah.
You see how people talk. We listen and then we imitate. Over time, we also learn to talk like that. So naturally, we grow. So the point Farrant is driving at is that beyond the natural way of learning, the teacher should create an environment which would endanger learning, which is devoid or different from the ones that we learn naturally. But others also disagree. So Valley sees learning as a way of being. It is an ongoing set of attitude, of temperament, and actions by the individual and groups, which they employ to keep abreast of the surprising, novel, new, ambitious, obtrusive, and recurring events. What he's saying is that, yes, learning does not only happens in the classroom. As human beings, we are curious. So we look out for things that surprises us, either as individuals or as a group. And in doing that, we often look into things that surprises us, that are novel, that means they are unique, things that are new, things that we do not understand, things that are not too clear, that is obtrusive, and things that we occur. Naturally, human beings learn through these experiences. Somebody will say gravity. Why is it that when a coconut falls, It does not go up but comes down. It is something that perplexes him. He doesn't understand. And then he studies and then he discovers what we term as the law of gravity. There's a force that pulls the thing downwards and not upwards. When you are in the orbit in space, when something falls, it floats in mid-air. But on Earth, there is something that pulls things down. And that thing, he says, is gravitational force. It was born out of curiosity. Exactly. So he's saying that learning should be something like that. So we should create scenarios that baffles, that surprises learners, that would ignite or like prompt them to want to discover things on their own. And in doing that, they will learn. Do you understand me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this learning, right, we say should lead to change. And there are a few of them which we consider: associative learning, social learning, cognitive learning. Look at this image and tell me what is happening here. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you see what I've projected?
Yes, please. We have seen it.
What is there? Oh, describe it for me. Mark.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay. Sir, with the
Philomena, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Who is talking, Philomena or Mark?
Sir, I'm talking.
Philo, go ahead.
Okay. So please, with the first image, the cat is trying to pull the ball to where the cage is. And then with the second image, it seems that the cat couldn't do it, so it stopped and then it lied down. The third one, too, it was trying to figure out how to pull the ball close to it. And then with the fourth one, too, it came out from the cage.
Okay. So those of us that have dogs and cats in our homes, in our houses, we are familiar with this. If your dog or cat likes coming inside, initially, if he wants to attend to nature's call, he will make noise, or bark, and then you know that he wants to go out. You have to open the door for it to go out and go and do more inside. If it's a trap door, it will try to push the door open for it to go out. After several unsuccessful attempts, the dog might give up. At a different date, he will try to go out, and maybe this time around he might be successful. By the fourth, fifth time, the dog will master exactly where on the door to press for it to go out. That's what we mean by associated learning. So what it takes for it to, he has learned that, so that the time that he spends in the trial and errors will be reduced. And next time you put him inside, if he wants to go out, he just open the door and go out. There are dogs and cats that can open the doors and come in and open it and go out. Have you experienced that before?
Yes, please. Yeah, my house. I've explained that thing before.
Aha. So in a scenario, there is a stimuli, which is the meat, the fish, that is placed in a bowl outside. And a cat is inside, he has seen the fish. When you place the fish there like that, it will try move frantically in the cage to get out. He will try several times, but he might not be successful. Once he pressed the lever, and then the gate will drop, and then you come out and take the fish. The next time that you put him in there, he will not use the same period, the length, to open the lever. It becomes shorter. By the third, fourth time, the moment you put him there inside and you put the fish outside, you will press the lever and come out. Hello? It is like
Yes,
mothers
sir.
have babies. When you have a newly born baby, you have to position the breast in the child's mouth and support it to feed. As the child ages, even when you are asleep, it can undo your bra, take the breast and suck it herself. Hello? Because he has mastered how to free the breast from whatever clothing that you are wearing so that it can feed. And this, we say it is instrumental conditioning. It was proposed by E.L. He says, in this type of learning, what is known as try and error learning, what is popular is that Ghana, we say matra makwe. A lot of us, when we buy a phone, we do not read the instruction. The moment you buy a phone, we just plug it in to charge. Once the battery is full, we start exploring things on the phone ourselves. At times, we are successful. At times, we are unsuccessful. But once you are successful, you stamp in the process. You retain the process. You are conscious of the process. So the next time, you don't go and do try and error. It is only women that use a lot of flashy phones, but do not know the functions of the phone. A lot of women have very, very expensive phones. They can't even take screenshots. You have to teach them, or you take it and take screenshots for them. He wants to scan something. He has all the apps on the phone, but he doesn't know which apps he can use to scan documents. But the moment you do it once, two, three times for them, they will master it. So we say that in this, Tronics place animals in a problem-solving situation where they manipulate the environment and thus produce an entire new condition. The animal produce voluntary response to the stimuli presented, and thus very instrumental in the learning process. So in the experiment, the animal will move practically in a new environment by crawling, biting, and chewing. During this wild coverting, the animals accidentally operates the mechanism and obtain the food or the reward. After a number of tries, the frantic and random behavior was eliminated, and the operation of escape mechanisms occurs quite early. So what does he do? He has stamped out the wrong things to do. You know that crawling will not get him out. Biting will not get him out. The only thing that can get him out is to press the lever. And we say this law applies under these conditions. The first law is the law of readiness. So for instrumental condition to operate, there should be the law of readiness. Once the animal is ready, once the animal is stimulated, is interested in getting out, the law states that when the learner is psychologically ready for learning tasks, learning is effectively accomplished. What are we saying? That if we want to teach learners, we should make them ready for the lesson. That is why your starter, your introductions are very, very important. It has to be interesting and stimulating so that the learner is ready to learn. Teachers that are very, very poor introductions, poor starters, chances are that learning will not take place. Because readiness is very important. The next law is a law of exercise. And this refers to the strengthening of the bond between the stimulus and the response through repetition and practice, and the weakening of the connections of forgetting what practice to discontinue. That's the law of disuse. What we are saying here is that the more you use something, the more that thing develops. Look at your two hands very well. Look at your hands very well. Which of your two hands is bigger? Christian.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which of your two hands is bigger?
My two hands.
Yes, look at your palm.
Yeah.
Look at it very well.
Yeah.
Which one is bigger?
I think the right one.
Yes, because you are a right-handed person. You know why that is big?
No, sir.
Because you exercise that muscle more, your right hand more than your left hand.
Okay.
That is why that right hand is developed. So every skill that we do not practice, that we do not exercise, we lose. New information that we learn, if we use it, we retain. A lot of us have been to ICT training workshop, what training workshop, yet we can't develop PowerPoint. Why? Because when we acquired the training, we did not exercise it. So we have lost them. We have learned a lot of things through our schooling. Pythagoras theory, parallelogram. Do you remember what those things are? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I am communicating. You know. What is a parallelogram?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking,
Sir,
do you
we are-
remember what is a parallelogram?
Hey. Sir, we forgot.
You've forgotten, yes, because and we here. What is here? But if it was something that you were using in your daily lives, you will still remember. Right? So, because the animal realized that when I chew, I didn't get any reward. I couldn't come out to chew the fish. When I ran through my cage, I could not get out. The only thing that I know is that when I press the lever, then the door will open for me to get out. He has stamped that in his head. So when you put him inside, you will press the lever and will come out. Right? So learning, whatever that you need to learn, you should repeat the process several times for it to stick, for it to stamp in. So under operant conditioning, the first law is the law of readiness. The second is the law of exercise. And the third is the law of effect. The law of effect. This refers to the strengthening or weakening of the connection as a result of consequence. Once I know, if I press the lever, the door will open and I will get. If I bite, nothing will happen. If I jump, nothing will happen. I now know the effects of my actions and inactions. And I stamp in the action that produces good effect, and I stamp out the actions that produces bad effects. So in learning, we should repeat various exercises to see which one helps us to retain knowledge the most. That is why in my earlier submission, I said some are visual learners. They'll need to see some graphs, some pictures. If that is your style, keep doing it. You will develop more competencies. If your style is to write down everything that was said word by word several times before you could remember, keep doing that. That's the law of exercise. And the effect is the result that will show in your portal that you've gotten A, you've gotten B+. But if you go and study alone in the library and you sleep, and always your grade is C+ and D, you give up. Because you are exercising but not seeing the effect. Are you following the argument?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
So, under the instrumental conditionings, I said there are three laws: readiness, law of exercise, and then a law of effect. Any condition, any question before we move ahead? Hello.
So it means that under the readiness,
Yeah.
it's how ready that you are before you just tackle the situation.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Even you, it is simple to do that with you. This course that you are doing, right? You are working, you are a full-time parent, and you're also a student. Concentrating on the lesson is difficult. In your undergrad days, this would have been very, very easy for you to understand. But because of the demands on you, learning becomes difficult. You are not too ready. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear.
And then your time to exercise, to read over, to try to relate it, you don't have a lot of time on hand. So you cannot stamp in, okay, so what are the core issues in the lecture that we did today? What are the takeaways? You write those things down yourself. You can't do those things. But once you do them and it shows in your portal, you consistently do them so that consistently be performing well. Is that clear? Now let's look at the
Yes, sir.
education implications. It says history teachers must provide satisfying conditions or positive reinforcement for correct response through praises, award of good grades, rewards, etc., to strengthen such responses and avoid the use of punishment and the use of demoralizing expressions like silly, stupid, boo, or good for nothing, etc. You see, when you come to class and you are giving class contributions and your teacher is appreciative of your effort, always you want to research, you want to read so that you contribute. But a teacher that is indifferent, everything good, okay, nobody wants to contribute in class. because you are not rewarding their effort. But at times you even dip inside your pocket and the student answers the question and give him 10 cedis. The next time your class is shy because everybody thinks that you earn 10 cedis. But honestly, let's avoid the use of demoralizing words. It kills students' souls. Remember, I said you are role models. So if you insult a student, you abuse a student, at times you scar the child for life. That one ungodly or unprofessional comment that you made can gravely affect a learner's posture or attitude for life. So we shouldn't call students good for nothing, blockheaded, stupid, fool. No. We should avoid those words. And so history teacher must take into consideration the maturity level of the pupils when planning the learning tasks. At times, even though the thing is in the syllabus, you know your learners that they can't understand this. Break it down. Restructure it to favor what they know and gradually build them up. There is no point in trying to finish a syllabus when you know that they did not understand the lesson that you taught them. So always we should teach at the level of the learners and then gradually build them up. Any question?
So I want to ask, if a student is behaving in a class, instead of using punishment so that it will serve as a warning to the others, you won't punish by rather do what?
No, I'm not saying that don't punish a student. At times, it is enough to even just mention the student's name. Because some of them think that we don't know them. The moment you mention a child's name, he knows you know him. He knows you have seen him. And some they will comport themselves. There are some students who are, let's say, attention seekers. So they want to disrupt the class, right? As much as possible. Let's not insult them. You can ask them to stand at the back of the class. You can call them to the staff room at the end of your class and then inquire why he was disturbing. You can report them to either the headmaster or the subject senior housemaster or wherever. And at worst cases, you can also report them to their parents. But as much as possible, let's not insult them. Is that clear?
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm listening.
Sir, mine is sometimes when this case, you know the child is not performing, but you are giving the child, maybe you are encouraging the person.
Yeah.
For my opinion, I think is that maybe the child is not performing, but you are encouraging him. When the child be content with where he is, where he or she is, I think rather you should let him or her know he is, or maybe you should let him or her know that he is not performing. With that, I think that will even encourage him to maybe up his whatever he's doing. But you know the person is not performing. Here is the case, you are encouraging him. Oh, it's okay, you are doing your best. Won't the child be content with where he or she is?
The point you are making is this. I get your point. No child is a fool. No child is stupid. If he's stupid, you draw him from school. So don't use those words. The child that you are saying that he's stupid, because he's not performing in your class, tomorrow might be the philanthropist. I'm coming. The child that you're saying is stupid today.
Okay.
Tomorrow might be the philanthropist who will come and rehabilitate your school. Bear in mind that A class students often becomes teachers. It is C class students that becomes entrepreneurs. So if you degrade, insult such students, you are not helping them. The child did not do well. So you call the child as, that is why at times you give personalized or individualized feedback. The whole class, the average was 7 out of 10. But there's a child that got 2 out of 10. So you say below performance or average performance. Then you go to the child and find out what he didn't understand by the lesson. That's why he got the 2. If you do that consistently, you see that the student would improve. He got 2. The following time he has gotten 3. There's an improvement. So, oh, you made an improvement. But as we say, there is more room for improvement. The child does not answer questions in class. He's always silent. When you call him, he doesn't say anything. But this time around, he raised his hand in class and made a contribution. But the contribution is wrong. So he said, good attempt. And then when he finished, he said the right thing. He's no fool. He will know that his answer is not correct. But the person, he doesn't do well. He has gathered some confidence to say something and it's wrong. He says, stop it. The next time you want the child to raise his hand again, he said, you are saying that he's stupid. So yes, we can be truth and factual. And at times, we ought to be more compassionate than factual. Because all of us, at some point, we needed the encouragement of our friends, of our teachers, to persist in our studies, for us to have come this way that we have come. Do you get the point I'm making, Mark? So you can...
Yes, sir. But say,
Mark, I'm listening.
I'm not in support of insulting this case. I remember when we were in JSS, there was this particular teacher, an English teacher. One is time for English, maybe classes, and maybe you fail. The way this teacher will talk to you, she will not insult you, but you know that the next classes, if you don't do well, the same thing will happen. It was a mixed school, and the way the teacher will talk to you, it's not like she will going to insult you, but it's like she's disgracing you. But in the next classes, you yourself will know that you have to perform. If you don't perform, the same thing will happen to you. So it was like a little bit, it was very disgracing, but yet it helped us because you know if you don't learn, you know what is ahead of you. So it was like a competition. Because everyone was interested in English because of this particular teacher. Because if you fail, the way she will talk to you, she will not insult you, but like a way of disgracing you. So because it was a mixed school, I think that was very helpful.
But the thing is that there is a child or 2 children who that disgrace scarred them for life. Some may discontinue schooling or will not persist when things become difficult because you have informed them that they are useless. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's be more empathetic. For a student that is, let's say, a higher achiever, if you say wrong and you move on, yes, he will feel it, but the child would take it normal. But a student that you know that is weak, usually does not. That's what I'm saying, that we should take our time to know the student. If you know the student, some student can get 7 over 10, and you have to talk to that student to set up a materials. A student may have 5 over 10, and you have to motivate that student to persist and continue to do well. So let's not like one size fit all for all our students. No. Let's make it more personal. But the point I'm making is that let's correct the student with a human face. After all, our job is to get them to advance. Their level of advancement will not be the same. Is that clear? Hello?
Yeah, that's it. It's clear.
Okay. So it is similar to this thing that we call operant conditioning. It is similar to this one, operant conditioning. This one, you do not allow the student to learn on his own. It is what we said. When you do something that is right, you are rewarded, or some pain is taken off. And when you do what is right, what is wrong, you are punished, or some comfort is taken off. So you see the mouse. Hello, can you see the picture that I've sent? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The slide that I've just sent. When the lever is green and the mice, when the switch is green and the mice touch the lever, the door will drop and you get nuts to eat. When it is red and you touch the lever, it will electrocute it. What do you think will happen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
I said, over time, what do you think will happen?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello? Mark, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Mark, go ahead.
Sir, I didn't get what you said.
I'm saying that when the light ignition is red and the
Okay.
mouse touch the lever will shock the mice. But when it is green and it touches the lever, the door would open and then he'll get nuts. If this continue over time, what do you think will happen?
So the door will open, will wait till the time that is in before it will just go out.
Yes, that's a normal thing. So that is what we tell us. Operant condition. You have conditioned the student that if he performs in a certain way, he gets a reward. But if the reverse is true, he gets a punishment. This is the mentality that educationists took us through mental education. So you are asked to read some passage and then learn some vocabulary, new vocabulary. Early morning, they say dictation. If you get a word wrong, what happens to you? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Dictation. If you get a word wrong, what happens to you?
You became.
You are changed. The nicest one was the mental. 2 by 2, before you open your mouth, the thing has started in your head. 3 times 3, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times pa. So if you don't want cane, you learn. So we are conditioned to have it right because we do not want to be cane. So positive attitudes are rewarded and negative ones are punished. And this was propounded by B.F. Skinner. So it differs from that of the first one because here we are conditioning how the child ought to behave. And then good stimulus are rewarded and then wrong ones are punished. So the operant conditions differ from classical conditions with reinforced produced in that in the former, the respondent determines when to reinforce it. But this time around, you are forced to respond in a certain way if you don't want trouble. Is that clear?
Yes, please. So, sir, the use of mentor in mathematics, the use of mentor, that 2 2 4 2 2, then you just go with the cane. Is it right to do it?
We over time we know that it's not good because they learn the thing by heart. At times they don't even understand what is going on. But if we take our time but it worked then because it got children to sit up and to work. But as in terms of long-term learning, it doesn't help much because of the pain that we inflict on the learner.
Okay, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At times, the problem is about the child even blending words, phonetics. Once we take our time to teach a child how to blend words, there's no need even memorizing anything. Some of us, we didn't even know how to blend words. We chewed it, and then when he comes, you say we should spell, we can spell for you. But if you give us a similar word, because we have not memorized it, we can't spell those things. So we missed out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, please. You understand? Yes.
The next is what we term as the. Look at this image and see what is happening. Can you see what is going on?
Yes, sir, we can see it. Yes, please.
An adult that is molesting a dog. And a child initially is unhappy. But once he also gets the opportunity, he behaves the same way. Is it familiar? Hello? I'm asking, is it familiar?
Yes, sir.
A lot of us
Yes, sir.
complain about the way our teachers taught us. But now we have opportunity to teach, and we are repeating the same things. And it's the same thing in our homes. This is what we term as operant conditioning. Here again, we say that, no, it is social learning theory that we become what we observe. We become what we observe. So if you want your children to read, you, the father, read. If you want your children to dress properly, you, the father, dress properly. They did a research where they exposed a group of students to some abusive movies. That group of children that were exposed to abusive movies, they exhibited that when they went out to play. And the group that were not shown that abusive movies, when they went out to play, they did not exhibit that. So it is about role modeling. So we, the teachers, we need to model, even in class, the way you want children to read. You do the model. You model reading first, and then you ask the children to read. Whatever you do, know that your learners are watching you. So it's not about listening to what I say, not what I do. But once you leave it out, it becomes easier for the learner to learn it easily. And this is by Albert Bandura. Any question? Hello? Any question? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are there. Yes, sir.
Okay. For social learning too, 4 things must be present. First is attention. The child should be able to observe you, pay attention to what you are doing. Then he should be able to retain what was observed. And you have the capacity to reproduce what he observed. And there should be a motivation. There should be a reason why he's doing that. And then once he pays attention, he's able to retain, he's able to reproduce, and there is some motivation to do it. They will do it and do it properly. So if you do a right thing, they'll copy it properly. If you also do a wrong thing, they'll copy it for you. But at times, if the child observes, if he retains, but he's not physically capable of doing it, he will not do it. That is how come children that live in abusive homes, when he's a child, you will not know that he's an abusive child. It is only when he grows and he marries. Now he is in a position to exhibit the things that he was watching when he was a child. Then he becomes an abusive father or an abusive mother. Is that clear? Hello?
Hi, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the rest are processes of learning, principles of effective learning. And I think when you read it, you will understand. Any questions so far? Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir. No, sir.
Any
No
questions so
question.
far? Okay. So we'll end it here. But I would prefer that in the course of the week, because today we're supposed to look at knowledge domains of learning. In the course of the week, which day would you be free? So that we tackle that before we meet next week, Saturday.
So I think Tuesday. Tuesday, 3 p.m.
Oh, 3 p.m. I'll still be in class.
The Friday.
Friday, what time? 6 to 8.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then we'll meet Friday 6 to 8 so that we will finish. And then we'll meet again Saturday 4 to 8. Because of the way we are behaving, I want to maintain the time. The 4 to 6, we'll maintain it next week. But you know that next week, when we are done, I'll give you topics. Let me know your number, right? So that I share it 5 and 6 for you, so that after your quiz 1, you do presentations. Is that clear?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
The presentations, you have the model, right?
Yeah, the soft copy.
Yes, sir. We have it.
Or a soft copy. So use it to prepare your presentation, right? And then any other material, but be guided by the model. Don't go and download anything that is irrelevant, right?
Okay.
So I'll share the units to you, and then you do the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.